Ruffle.
Yo, what's up, yo?
Hey, what's going on there, YouTube? This is SCL0320.
Boy Joe Johnson,
So we are back for a brand new non-spoiler review of The Arrow. We just did a full spoiler review, so go definitely check that out.
Yep, check that out. Look at that one. Shot. Yep.
No, you're not.
I was back.
I couldn't even see you. But the name of this episode is The Fallen. Just to reiterate, they did a lot in this episode, considering the last episode that Thea died, or basically got impaled by Ghul, slammed down, left bleeding, and that's where it picks off. And the things that happen in the beginning of this episode with Thea and with Malcolm and with Oliver, there's a hospital sequence. There is a sequence where basically Thea's dying. And it's really deep and it's really sad and it's life-threatening because you don't know what's going to happen at this point. And Oliver has to make the ultimate decision that this Lazarus pit is her only option, just like the preview kind of showed. But for me, like, I really liked this episode because it had different multiple layers. The flashbacks were really thrilling. They had a lot going on with them, with Maceo and his wife and Oliver trying to stop this virus from being unleashed at the end of everything, and they might not necessarily be successful in it, but it was really awesome how they actually did it, and it was fitting with each sequence that were happening. Yeah, it was just nuts, man. What was your takeaways from this episode without telling too much?
This episode is definitely one you want to watch.
Yeah.
Reason being is because moving forward, there are definitely dynamics. I mean, dynamics within, the Arrow's faction or Oliver's faction's team. Definitely, like, his relationships are tested, and after this episode, a lot of them do change.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So
it's real.
That is something you don't want to miss because how it's all gonna play out. It's definitely contingent off this episode.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something you want to watch.
Yeah, like every relationship that Oliver has is really about to change because of the decisions that he has to make in this episode, and especially his sister. And like basically Malcolm makes this notion that if Thea goes into the Lazarus pit to get healed or get revived, whichever, that what comes out is not that same person. Like the soul of the person is no longer the same. And that in and of itself, like, it gets played out in this episode. Even like relationship between Ray and Oliver and Felicity and that whole triangle that's going on, that gets answered in this episode. It's just really well thought out plot, and even by the end of it, it's like it was great, but that doesn't mean everything that happened was good. Matter of fact, it's pretty messed up stuff that happens throughout most of the entire episode. But there are conclusions and resolves to the whole entire series just in this episode alone. But I don't know what's gonna happen next. Considering the preview, if you haven't seen this yet, once you look at it, go check out a preview. Like, you will not believe what's gonna happen next. And I mean, I guess that all plays into the Arrow, not the Arrow, but the Flash, where we've seen Oliver dressed in a new black cloak that doesn't seem like the Oliver Queen that we know. So how he gets from being the one that we see in this series to what happens later on, I guess it's going to get answered really soon. But it's really epic. It's really good. It's a really good episode. We definitely, I think I gave it a 10 out of 10. What did you give it as far as a review? 9 out of 10. One thing I wanted to ask you, Joe, before we cut out, because basically we're done. Coming into this, you came into the series at season 3. But do you feel as though you have been crippled by not seeing season 2 or season 1 based on how they've been telling everything? Or does it feel like it could literally pick off by itself just from season 3?
You know, I kind of feel like I missed out on a lot. Just because, I feel like I missed out on a lot, and I feel like I would want to start from the beginning, or if I wouldn't advise someone to did how I did it, but yeah, I wouldn't advise anybody to do that. But I mean, I kind of get the gist of it now. I think I'm caught up in the loop.
Yeah, because I guess in this series or this season, all the different things that have happened, they've been addressed, and I guess in some kind of way, shape, or form. It's just some of the, I guess, the end results of the first 2 seasons don't get addressed in certain ways. But what I was thinking is the fact that Joe is able to keep up with this review and all these different kind of things just off of this season alone, but yet he hasn't seen the first 2 seasons. And rarely you can do that with shows. Most of the time you have to kind of get the whole gist of everything. And even though you've missed a lot, I feel like the way that they've done the story arc for this, like it can be a standalone where somebody hadn't seen any of it. Because a lot of people, actually, to be honest with y'all, they started looking at The Flash, and they saw the combo episode of The Flash and Arrow together, and they're like, wait, I don't understand what's going on, because they haven't been looking at Arrow. And then they started looking at Arrow, but because the 2 series work hand in hand, they've been able to look at it without any kind of problem. But now they have to go back to Netflix and kind of rewatch them. But at the same time, they can enjoy both shows as they are. So that, to me, that shows a lot of great things about the scripting and the writing and how they created this universe. And I hope they really expand on it. One of the things I worry about is because Suicide Squad is about to come out and because Batman vs Superman is about to come out, there's been talks that Deathstroke, Amanda Waller, Deadshot, these are characters that are going to be pushed away from the Arrow series, and I hope they don't do that. Only reason why is because it's its own individual arc, it's its own individual story arc. And it's not going to be the same as the movie universe. If y'all want to separate it, you should keep it separate, not remove characters just because. And I think we talked about that, right, earlier.
Yeah.
But that's the only fault that I'm worried about with the TV universe. And if they do that with Flash too, then that's going to be a whole other added issue because the Flash is supposed to be in the Justice League. So, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, definitely, hopefully y'all enjoyed this non-spoiler review. I know we kind of got weird with the last few bit, but I think it's really important to talk about these different kind of discussion things. If y'all have any comments, please leave it in the comment section below. Anything else, Joe, you having to leave off with?
Yeah, definitely, man. One more thing about this episode, like, I know in the previous episode Oliver was talking about, like, he was questioning his identity as the Green Arrow. This one, you see, is like, his identity is being stripped. And I think after all this plays out, he's really gonna, and I think you mentioned this too in the spoiler review, so I feel like he's definitely gonna find exactly who he is. I feel like he's gonna come out, like really like a diamond. You know what I'm saying? So to speak.
So there's not going to be any question of who he is at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think so. I'll say that.
That's real. Ooh, one thing I wanted to bring up. So in the last episode, Roy departed the series. The actor departed the series. They're talking about having like a spin-off series that's going to have, I guess, Hawkgirl, maybe the Atom and other characters, which would be really cool. But I've been hearing talks of a TNT show called Titans, and it's supposed to be the live-action version of the Teen Titans. And the character Arsenal or Red Arrow is actually a part of the Teen Titans. So if I'm hoping, what I'm hoping is that they're gonna have this other show, and it's gonna merge with this one, so that the character can come back and forth when he wants to. But now he's on his own set show with Nightwing, with Starfire, and with Beast Boy, and with Cyborg. I think Cyborg and Beast Boy, they've been cut out, but I know for a fact that Raven and Starfire are in.